did everything, made herself a perfect slave to him. Bought his clothes?" "Oh," groaned the wretched man, "I suppose so. What did I know about baby's clothes? And she wouldn't answer my questions. Said he was all right, and didn't want for anything, as I could see with my own eyes. I tried making presents, used to bring her curios and things, found out her birthday, and sent her a jewel, took every chance I could see to work off the obligation, but it was no use. She gave me a birthday present after I'd given her one." "Well, if moths will go into spiders' webs," laughed his companion, "they must take the consequences." "Sometimes they get helped out," he replied. "Some beneficent, godlike being puts out an omnipotent finger." He looked at her, and she looked at him. At this moment they seemed to have known one another intimately for years. The moon again. "Tell me everything," she said, "and I'll help you out." So then he told her that he had not, this time, visited his son. He might have added that he had come to Five Creeks partly to avoid being visited by him. Cowardly and weak, he frankly confessed himself. But the thing was too confoundedly awkward, too embarrassing altogether. "But she writes continually, tells me what he weighs, and when he's got a fresh tooth, and how he crawls about the carpet and into her bed of a morning, and imitates the cat meowing, and drinks I don't know how many pints of new milk a day, and all that sort of thing. I believe the rascal has the appetite of a young tiger, and yet I can't pay for what he eats. The nurse was long ago dispensed with, so that I've not even her board to send a cheque for, that they might by chance make a trifle of profit out of. It seems too late now to simply take the child away, and there leave it. I haven't the shabby courage to do such a thing, and besides, he might come to any sort of grief, poor little chap, in that case. There's no doubt in the world that her taking of him and doing for him have been the salvation of his health, and perhaps his life. And I know, by what she tells me, that he regularly dotes on her, as so he ought, and would howl his very head off if I took him from her. What could I do with him if I did take him? I've no home, and nobody to look after it if I had, and hired servants are the deuce with a lone man at their mercy. It would be worse now than it was at first. And so," with another heavy sigh, "you see the situation. I've just swallowed up, body and bones, drowned fathoms deep in a sea of debt and obligation that I can never by any possibility struggle out of, except," continued Alice, with the candid air of a kind and sensible sister. "Except by marrying her, you mean?" "Yes, I see the situation. I appreciate your point of view. I should understand it if it were not that she unquestionably laid the trap for you deliberately, just as that spider laid his for moths and flies. And marriage by capture has gone out." "Oh, don't say that," the man protested in haste. "I would not for a moment accuse her of that. She was Lily's friend. It was for her. It was out of pure womanly compassion for the motherless child, at any rate, in the beginning. And even now I have no right whatever to suppose." "But you know it, all the same. Every word you have said to me tells me that you know it. You may as well be frank." He squirmed a little in his chair, but confessed as required. "Well, but it's a caddish thing to say. I think she does expect it, and hasn't she the right to expect it? However, that's neither here nor there. The point is that, in common honesty and manliness, I should repay her if I can, and there's no other way at least, I can't see any other way. It is my fault, and not hers, that I don't take to the notion, for a better woman never walked, nor one that would make a better mother to the boy. But, somehow, you do like to have your free choice, don't you?" He had come as far as this, that he could entertain the idea of choice, which meant a second choice. "It would be utterly wrong, absolutely immoral, downright wicked, to forego it," Alice declaimed with energy. "It would be nothing short of criminal, Mr Carey." She argued the point with eloquence, even excitedly, and when she had brought him to reason, very willing to be brought, leaned back in her chair with a joyous air. "Oh, we will arrange it," she reassured him. "There are plenty of ways. I'll tell you," bending forward again, and gazing earnestly into eyes from which something that had been looking out of them seemed to have drawn back hastily. "You shall introduce me to her, and I will bring him away up here for a visit. He ought to be in the country in summer, and he will come with me, I know, and won't miss her after a couple of days. I can get you a nurse cheap from some of the selectors, and one more or less makes not the slightest difference in a house like this, and I will take care of him for you until you come back next voyage, or for just as long as you will trust him to me. So the difficulty will solve itself without any fuss. Do you see?" Guthrie Carey felt unable to reply. He could only murmur again and again, "You are awfully good, Miss Urquhart. 'Pon my word, you are too good altogether." Later he declared more firmly that he could not think of troubling her. "Nonsense," she returned lightly. "It is all settled." Chapter 2.